Being told what to do is no fun. In fact, it might be why you are quiet quitting. Whether it's your boss directly or indirectly telling you to do so, your subconscious letting you know that something else is needed, or your body giving you signs to simply do less. I know, I'm telling you to stop quiet quitting, but I want to tell you why and what you can do in order to get some relief. I know because every time I get overwhelmed and frustrated, I seek out other opportunities. Doing so under painful conditions has never really worked. It just begets pain. If you're consciously or unintentionally quiet quitting, you're avoiding what you need to do in order to be successful. I know, I know. And the circumstances you are in can be hard. For instance, the stigma of working from home and perceived productivity. Perhaps you're in a circumstance that you need to work from home. For some, that may mean being immunocompromised. Others are needing to care for a loved one. Or perhaps you just know the value of your time previously spent commuting. I used to live in Washington, D.C., so my commute was very unreasonable. I didn't have much of a life outside of work because I spent most non working hours in my car. And prior to that, I lived in a rural area where I would drive an hour and a half each way. By the end of the week, I had already lost a full day of sunshine. Working from home has become not only a convenience for me and others, but a necessity for some. And regardless of the reason, shouldn't we each have the autonomy to make the lifestyle choices that we want? If a boss or employer is concerned about an employee's productivity, they should be looking at the system they've created for employees to contribute their best work, not blaming the environment that the employees are in. Another circumstance is there are these expectations and patterns that are already established at work. Speaking of systems, let's break it down into processes. If you are in a role where you aren't getting monthly or quarterly feedback about your progress, then maybe there's an opportunity for professional development here. And if you aren't given an annual review, then it's time for you to either lead the way or look elsewhere. Having worked for leadership development companies, I know the importance and, if done right, the effectiveness of annual reviews. Yes, they can be stressful and daunting, but not if everyone is doing their job. Want to go above and beyond? One way would be to meet with your manager 6 to 8 weeks prior to your review and present them with SMART goals that align with the organization's vision and mission. Showing your boss that you see yourself in the vision and are working to contribute to the mission will go a long way. Planting the seed early will get them to think about how to best coach you, and it may even end up setting up a new pattern with regards to how you work together. In the beginning of my corporate career, I despised annual reviews. I took them personally, and I thought my boss was out to get me. Soon I realized that the decision makers are looking at metrics that had no bearing on how I felt, even if I was passionate about my work or scared of being fired. So when I presented my manager with a 90-day plan 3 months prior to my annual performance review, she had a bonus waiting for me by the time the review was complete. I was the first person in the company to receive the bonus, and many teams used how I approached my professional development as a way forward. From that point on, I always got a bonus, and my manager realized how helping me and my coworkers not only reached our goals, helped us, but helped her and the organization. Another circumstance from quiet quitting is this alignment of compensation and benefits to value that you're bringing. So, when you and your boss can clearly see what you're contributing, there's no reason why you can't or shouldn't receive the compensation and benefits you seek. This may take several crucial conversations, but not having them, you feel and live out the missed opportunity that you don't seek. So, how do you do this? You set expectations with your boss and boundaries for yourself. Easier said than done, right? Well, I already outlined a few solutions for you, but let's explore the root cause a bit so you can decide the best approach for you. Hi, my name is Heather Levitt Martinez. I'm the director at Tech Host Academy, and I help professionals make online sessions more engaging, efficient, and equitable. Please take a moment to like, follow, or subscribe to this page so we can continue the conversation about how together we can create environments that we can all thrive in. So, what is the root cause of quiet quitting? I'd love to hear your answers in the chat. In general, quiet quitting is the side effect from the pandemic fueled by capitalism. On an individual contributor level, it's a response from burnout. So, what's burnout? The definition of burnout is not being able to recover from what you did today by tomorrow. I talk about burnout in depth in the video blog post, How to Increase Engagement in Online Settings. And I'll be sure to put that and several other links in the chat. But first, I'll give you a simple but not always easy to implement way to avoid burnout. Then we'll tackle quiet quitting. To avoid burnout, you must know and be able to manage your capacity versus your capability. Your capability is measured by your skills and expertise needed to complete a task. If you are hired for your current role based on your skills and capabilities, you were done so before your capacity was ever known or could even be measured. Your capacity is how much of that task you can accomplish well in a certain period of time. And this is based on how well you manage your capabilities. Are you working to your highest potential? And if so, is it because you're working hard or working smart? Studies have shown that our brains function at best 60% of the time. That might feel a bit low for the perfectionists out there, but the good news is that when we make mistakes, we learn and the neuroplasticity of our brain improves. So regardless of your capabilities, your capacity can increase over time if you consciously work to reward and grow from your mistakes. Another way to look at capacity is that we often overestimate what we can accomplish in a day and underestimate what we can accomplish in a year. By overestimating what we can accomplish in a day, we burn ourselves out by either working faster or working longer. This can lead to more mistakes, lethargy, and resentment or negative self talk. If our skill sets and strengths are a good match, meaning our capability, and we know what we can accomplish in a set time, our capacity, we can avoid burnout on a daily basis by doing our best work and recovering by the next day. Now, how does that relate to quiet quitting? When we get burned out, we need a break to recover. If we take that break, and the break frequently as needed, we and others may perceive our behavior as giving up or quitting. Point a magnifying glass on that behavior while looking at the aftermath of the pandemic as a whole, and it gets labeled quiet quitting. NPR recently published an article called Quiet Quitting, Real Quitting, Unionizing. What else are American workers up to? In this article, it states that there are more job openings than there are job seekers, and the gap is growing. And while there are pockets of job freezes and layoffs, most employers are stuck between trying to keep employees while onboarding new ones. On the other side of the coin, employees are forming unions, strikes, walkouts, and quiet quitting as a means to say enough is enough. NPR also published an article called What is Quiet Quitting and How It May Be a Misnomer for Setting Boundaries at Work. With so much talk about quiet quitting in the media and in our own minds, how do we strike a balance between getting what we need out of a job and what an employer needs from us? Well, I talk about this in a previous video blog called Managers versus Employees. How do we align to the wants and needs of both? And you can watch in the video or read in the blog how I go deep into how managers and employees can come together to meet the needs and wants of both. This can be especially important during a time of quiet quitting. If you're looking for a quick answer, you know what I'm going to tell you. What's worked for me and others is tech hosting. Tech hosting is a service-centric skill that anyone working online can add to their toolbox. It adds value to the work that you do, helps you show up in a more visible way to your boss or manager, and gives you a vehicle to make cultural change. Now, if you're not a change management person, let me break this down to you. It simply makes your job better. But easier said than done, right? At Tech Host Academy, I give you the tools to find the right answer for you and your employer. A tool you can download and start implementing today that will have a long lasting effect on your career. Want to show up with even greater value online in front of your boss and coworkers? The tech hosting skills I teach at Tech Host Academy model the way. Need a reset on the conversations and what others expect of you? We give you the tools and language to communicate the value you bring. And if you're starting a new job, well, this is a great way to get more compensation and set you up for success in the first 30 to 90 days. Together, we identify the skills and strengths you bring to your work, how to communicate them, and we set smart goals to align your new tech hosting skills to add even more value to your position. Now, I'm serious. I give you the SMART template, and then I give you the 1 day, 1 week, first month, 60 days, 90 days, 6 month, 1 year. I give you all of that filled out so that you can customize it to fit your needs. Now, I said it before and I'll say it again. The key is setting expectations with your boss and boundaries for yourself. You have to be transparent, but that's scary. Finding the language and the right time to approach your boss can be a challenge. And if you've never done it before, you can feel really vulnerable. I give you the tools and the language to take the initiative to find ways you and your boss can meet the needs of the organization and your needs so that you don't have to burn out and you won't be accused of quiet quitting. My approach will help set your mind at ease so you can do your job better and help those around you do their best too. See, most decision makers in an organization are focused on the top and bottom lines, making metrics based decisions that can affect you. But you have a choice and an opportunity. Don't allow yourself to make a decision based from a place of burnout. Now, this is hard to do, but when overstressed, we tend to forget how to access the creative problem solving centers of our brains. So do yourself a favor. Bookmark this page and make a note in your calendar to come back to it later. And take some time to reflect in whatever way makes sense to you. Take a walk, write in a journal, talk with a trusted friend or mentor, and think about how exploring your needs and gaining the tools needed to communicate to your boss will help set expectations about your career now into the future. I hope we have an opportunity to connect at Tech Host Academy. And if you want to get started on your tech hosting journey today, you can download the free roadmap on my website. I'll be sure to put the link in the post. And take the time you need to make the right career decision for you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you soon at Tech Host Academy.